Hey, welcome to another episode of Porch Swing People.
I'm Lex.
And I'm Gibby.
Each week we bring on a guest to chat with them about what's going on in their life, memories from the past, hopes for the future. We're so excited to bring our guest on today, mostly because the last week has been so beautiful and sunny out. I bet this guest has some great things going on in their life, and we're excited to hear about them.
I was actually thinking about this yesterday. The weather is just incredible at this time of the year. You know, everything's clean. It's spring. It is beautiful out. I was thinking, the sun was out and I was like, when I was little, a day when I would be like in the sun under the bush in our bushes in our forts, a day would last forever. I was outside yesterday and I was like, man, this day's going quick.
For kids, you're right, it does seem to last for a long time. We were at the park yesterday with our kids' friends, and it was such a laid back time. I had one kid flying a kite or trying to fly a kite with their friend. They loved it and they thought that they were genuinely flying kites, so it was so magical. I had another kid who was running around the grass trying to climb trees that are too big for him. And, we're having a picnic and they're playing on the playground and they're running around looking for bugs in the grass. And really, that's all they need is just a field to be in and exist in. Do you remember when we were kids and you raked this giant pile of leaves for my sister and I to jump into?
That was out in Virginia Beach, I think.
One of my favorite memories from childhood. And now when I look back on it as an adult, all I can think about is how many spiders had to be in that leaf pile. And I did not think of it at all as a child. And this is how kids are.
In there. That was, I loved it though. And the thing is the leaves were just absolutely gorgeous, yellow, orange, and red, and a great big pile. And it was awesome to watch you guys just in there having fun and playing.
I guess the moral would be that you can find beauty in any time of the year, especially if you're a kid.
Yes.
Hey, should we bring on our guest?
Let's do it. So our guest today is JB, another longtime friend. He is an amazing individual. You guys are going to love him. So positive, so loving. And I can't wait to hear what's going on with him. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but let's bring him on.
All right, let's do it.
JB, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, there you are.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we can hear you. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
We're doing pretty good.
I'm so excited that you agreed to come in and join with us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I'm pretty excited to be here as well. It's really good to connect again and, just talk about life and just hang out.
Why don't we start with you telling us a little about yourself?
Yeah, so a little bit about me. Originally from Long Beach, California. So grew up here in Southern California in the nice, perfect weather. Did 23 years in the Army. So really fun 23 years. Obviously got to serve with Gibby for a good portion of that at the tail end of my career. And then decided to leave the government when I retired from the military and then come back to Southern California because $5 a gallon or $6 a gallon for gas is really exciting. So I wanted to come back to California and decided to get in the sports industry. So spent I've been here back in California just over 3 years. Recently just moved down to San Diego. Didn't think weather would be as perfect as it is, but it's amazing.
Hey, so you were talking about the perfect weather and stuff. We were chatting right before you came on about, when we were kids and the weather and how long the days were when I'd be outside playing. Tell us about a moment that when you were a child, what brings you joy or memories from your past?
Yeah, so I really look at my childhood in Long Beach, California, and those that, I'm not sure if you've been to Long Beach or not, or those that haven't, but Long Beach is a very diverse community. Everything you could ever imagine is really there in Long Beach. I went to one of the largest high schools in the city, which was Long Beach Polytechnic High School. That is the high school that has the most professional athletes that come out of the high school, out of any high school in the nation. So that's really cool to, go to a school like that. And or we have artists like Snoop Dogg or athletes like Billie Jean King or, Cameron Diaz, and the list goes on and on. And it's really fun to like go to a school that you've had so many successful people come out of. Growing up, like my dad was in the military as well, in the army. He was active duty, spent a lot of time in Germany, and then got out and became a reservist. He was always talking about, taking advantage of our surroundings and really getting to make the most out of life and make it the best ever. My parents allowed me to have those opportunities to grow and like really develop myself and figure out where I wanted to go. Initially, as a young kid, I was always around sports. My dad actually worked for the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Los Angeles Kings, the Los Angeles Lakers. And he was a huge sports fan. So I think growing up, I was always around sports. I was always at Dodger Stadium with him. Always at the Great Western Forum where the Kings and the Lakers played. It was really cool to be around like greats like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Magic Johnson, to like Wayne Gretzky and Bernie Nichols and Luc Robitaille on the hockey side, to baseball players anywhere from Steve Garvey and Tommy Lasorda, back in the day, to Darryl Strawberry and Gary Carter and Mike Scioscia, and the list goes on and on. Growing up around sports it felt very natural to be there, and it felt very natural to be around so many athletes, and I just thought it was normal. And what I learned later, it wasn't normal. Most people aren't hanging around some of the best athletes in the world. So it's really cool to have pictures with all these folks and be around them. Then it was transitioning also to like Boy Scouts, and went through all the ranks of Boy Scouts, made Eagle Scout, which is the highest rank you can make in scouting. Giving back to the community was always big in Scouts. And my dad was always big about that too. It was like, give back to your community, make it better than when you arrived. I was a cross country runner in high school. So in Long Beach, which was funny, as big as the city was, there wasn't a lot of running events for us to do. So 5K, 10K runs, there was none of that here. Just a group of my friends, Tyler and Matt and Mark, and we're all like 14, 15-year-old kids. And we're like, let's start this 5K run. It can't be that hard. And so
That's amazing. Yeah.
we just goes down a couple streets and, run. And which we did. So our first year, it was 4 of us. We're all 14, 15 years old. Got a whole bunch of adult volunteers to help us, and then we ended up building Long Beach's largest running event. We had a 5K run, 10K run, and a 1 mile kids fun run, and it became a huge event in our community. It was called the Bixby Knolls 5K, 10K run.
Right on. That is awesome.
Yeah, it was super fun. 4 years we did it. So I did it into my freshman year of college. What is a moment, I think you asked, like in my childhood, that brought me so much joy? And I think it was all inclusive. It was all a big holistic picture of everything that happened in my life, from scoutings to like being around sports, giving back to the community, my high school. Those are all great memories and great, great moments in my life.
That sounds like you took the essence of your childhood and you've carried that with you into how you live in your adulthood too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think those pieces of everything I've done in childhood were basically all replicated at a larger level once I became an adult. Like even as I joined the military, I still gave back to scouting. When I was a young private, I actually knew the commanding general of the installation of Fort Lewis, and I knew his family really well. They're from Long Beach. Actually, the general went the same high school I went to, Long Beach Poly. So I get to Fort Lewis, and this is really funny. Like within my first week there, it trickles down the command channels and it gets down to my company commander, so my first level of leadership. And they call me in his office. I'm scared. Brand new in the military, brand new in the Army, and I come in his office. I'm like at attention, like trembling, and he's like, "How does General Kellogg want to see you? Why is a 3-star general calling you?" That was a fun trip to talk to leadership about my relationship, I guess, and knowing him. But through that, also revealed that I was in Scouts and I was an Eagle Scout and all that. And so the installation had a Boy Scout troop, so that was cool. So basically, all the leaders asked me to run the Boy Scout troop there at Fort Lewis, and so I ended up as a young private, ended up running the Boy Scout troop there. So like giving back,
Wow.
like that's what I was just saying, is like giving
Yeah.
back to, what scouting gave to me, I was able to give back to the boys there.
That is incredibly wild. I'm first of all, being a young private, you you don't have time to be doing all of these other things. It's usually, your schedule is dictated by the military and your supervisors or your echelon there, and and you're able to do all that other stuff and really kind of anything outside um, of your work hours. That's your time, and you were just giving back to the community. I think it's totally incredible.
JB, I have a question. How do you think other people who know you well would describe you in 3 words?
Oh man, you're giving me 3. It's really funny because I do some interviews for work, and so during my interviews I always talk about I ask the same question because I think it's so intriguing to figure out, like, what do you think people think of you and what's your brand? What are people talking about you behind your back, and what are those things they say, right? And I will definitely say I think people will say I'm probably like high energy when it comes to a lot of things. I would definitely say organized. I think the third one would definitely be connected. And when I say connected, I would definitely say like somebody that like tries to stay connected with everybody, check up on people or see what's going on. Like we could have not talked for a year and then like throw you a text real quick or make a phone call and just talk to y'all again. I would say those 3 things would be my 3. Yeah.
Follow-up question. I have 2 questions. First, I would say those 3 descriptions, do you think that those are the same things that people would say about you from your younger years, like early military or late adolescence? And the second question is, how do you manage keeping up with all of the people in your life and making sure that you're checking on all of them at some point? How do you manage that?
So childhood, I would definitely say it's probably those 3 are probably the same in childhood as well. And as I grew older, I think because that was a lot of what my dad was. A lot of people always talk about like I'm like literally my dad, and he was always well connected. He knew people everywhere. I think I learned a lot from him on that aspect and like just building a really good network. And that network really builds into friendships, right? So you connect with people, you build long lasting relationships or friendships with people, and friends take care of each other and friends want to hang out. So I think as I continued on life, and that has always been what life's been about for me, I guess.
What is something that you're grateful for right now?
Some of the things I'm really grateful for is it's a bigger collective, I guess, answer. Obviously, my family, the friends that I've met, and those that I've served with in the military, and then even those that I continue to serve with now in the sports industry that I'm in. All the success that I've been able to have in my life has all been because of those that I've been surrounded around. My family and that foundational support and base that I get from all of them, whether it's my parents or my sister, or my nephew, my niece, or my own kids, or my cousins and aunts and uncles. The friendships and those leaders that I've had, even the tough leaders that, man, have been really, really rough on me over the years sometimes. I think they have all had a very big piece of my lifelong success. And I always go back to think is if I were to die today, I would be happy, right? I would be a happy man. If it ended today, like I'm very grateful for everything I've had and everything I've been able to do.
What is your key to being resilient and persevering through challenges? Because your outlook seems so positive and energized. How have you gotten through challenging times? Just teach us how to live life, basically.
Obviously, we all have challenges in life, and I think those are going to come, right? You're going to hit brick walls. There's a former Carnegie Mellon professor named Randy Pausch. who wrote the book on living while he was dying. So he was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And he still taught. And while he was teaching at Carnegie Mellon, he really was designing what life looked like and what we should be doing in life and like, how do you live your life? One of the things he did say in that book, or in his last lecture that he made, was talking about brick walls. And brick walls were made to keep those that don't want it bad enough out. And then those that want it bad enough will break through those walls. You know, I've always looked at all those challenges as brick walls. And, you know, do I want it bad enough to get through it? And yeah, the question is, yes, I want to get through it. And so how do I get through that?
Man, that is such a great mindset to have.
And it sucks sometimes, right? And you hit a challenge or a roadblock. Is it worth it? Do I want to go through that anymore? You know, you can sit back and listen. I mean, I'll do that too. You know, sit back, talk to those in my circle, talk to my network, talk to my friends and family. And sometimes do the benefits outweigh the costs on some things, right? But mostly in my life, I've always tried to break down those brick walls, right? And try to get through that. Sometimes when you reach those challenges, then you think about like what truly makes you happy, what makes you wake up every day and really excited to do life. For me, that was a big, hard pivot when I left the military and then figuring out what I was going to go do. And then it was, I'm going to go in the sports industry. I don't know what I'm going to do in sports, but I want to be in the sports industry. My dad did it. I had so much fun around it as a kid. And then now I want to like transition to it, you know, now and just have fun. You know, I did a lot of things to network with people, really reached out. And I think that network really helped me with, especially all the people that I already knew, really helped snowball it to have a great opportunity to do an internship with the Houston Astros and then serve 3 years with the Los Angeles Angels out here in Anaheim. And then which is carried on to me now, you know, getting promoted and having a position with the San Diego Padres. I wake up every day and super excited like a little kid, you know, and like I get to go to the ballpark every single day. And here in San Diego, it's America's best ballpark. So it's even better. Every single day, 40,000 people come into our ballpark every game to have the best time of their lives. And they do. It's my responsibility to make sure that they are all safe and secure when they come to the ballpark, whether it's you know, a guest that's coming in or, you know, an employee that's coming in, they still need to have a really good time. And of course the players or the talent that's coming in, right? I think that's what's fun is like every day I come to work super excited to make a difference.
Your formula for success to a goal or all of your goals, I love your approach. You should do a how-to book. I wanted to be in the sports industry. I started networking. I took the network that I already had and I built that. And you just kept plugging in and plugging your way through. I mean, so many people right now are stuck and they don't know how to break those walls, those barriers, those brick walls that you were talking about. That is incredible the way that you just described that. It seems so simple. It is not. There's a lot of perseverance, a lot of resilience, as Lexi had asked when you started out. That is a huge takeaway today. Just start plugging in and making your way through it.
You know, and I think a lot of people, when they have dreams, they want to be at the place of attaining their dream. They want to get from where they are to their dream quickly. And you just taught us how to make your way towards that, where you were in Houston and then you were in LA and now you're with the Padres. At each step in reaching that dream, you loved it and you found the beauty in every part of where you were. And I think that's a major key for anyone who's trying to get from, you know, point A to point Z, whatever their goal is, that you have to take those steps and enjoy the journey along the way. Another takeaway that I have from hearing your story is how important it is to find what makes you happy and that you can have a life of service and do something that makes you feel happy and fulfilled at the same time. And you don't have to sacrifice one for the other.
it was really interesting is to go back to the military. And you join as a civilian, right? So when you decide to raise your right hand and serve the nation, whatever reason you decided to join the military, most of everybody starts off with at least 8 weeks of initial training, whether it's basic training or whatever. And that's the transition you from a civilian, from basically a kid to a warrior, to a soldier, a sailor, Marine, an airman. Something that still troubles me is when we get out of the military, they have a program called the Transition Assistance Program. I think it is. So TAP, TAP, right? Or TAPS. As I went through that program and I realized how insufficient it was to help transition our service members out of the military back into a civilian.
Mhm.
Usually that program is only like 3 days. I sort of feel that we don't give our military a lot of success when they get out or when they're
Mhm.
planning to get out of the military, right? That transition piece is really hard for a lot of people, and trying to find their why, trying to find their purpose in life after the military.
Did you find any support or organizations that were helpful during your transition out of the service?
Luckily for me, I was able to find a couple nonprofit organizations that really, I mean, there's hundreds or thousands that are out there to really help transitioning service members. And for me, I was really lucky when I got out because I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And it sounded simple, like, oh, I'm going to go in sports, and I made it in sports. It's not that easy, right? But I didn't know I wanted to do that. I knew it was always a passion, but I never knew I could do it or wanted to do it. And so luckily, I ran into some nonprofit organizations. One was the Leader Transition Institute, and they were an organization that really helped me develop my why and what my life was, and how do I change my focus from we, like that's what we do in the military. We are focused on we, it's us as a team, but how do I change my focus from the we to me, right? And how does that change? And so that organization did a phenomenal job in helping me like think a little bit bigger and broader, right? And then in the special operations world, they have a transition program called the Honor Foundation. And the Honor Foundation is really strictly for those that serve in the special operations community. So, SEALs, Green Berets, Marine Raiders, those that are in the Special Operations Command. So that program's really focused to help people transition out. And that one's 8-week program, plus it's enduring after that 8-week program's complete, and then the like continued success and support after that. Even to this day, I still get support from them, and then I provide some support back to them. But that was a program that was actually started from the Navy, from the SEALs Foundation, and so as a nonprofit organization that's still ran mostly by SEALs, but is supportive to all the special operations community in the military. So that program, coupled with the Leader Transition Institute, really helped me change my focus and really figure out what I wanted to do in sports. Because we lose our sense of purpose sometimes when we leave the military. We lose that sense of brotherhood or sisterhood that we've had. I don't know. I spent probably more times with Gibby than my own parents, and the memories that we have and those that we cherish, and that brotherhood is unreal, and it can never be replicated anywhere else. And so I think, what is our purpose? What makes us happy? How do we continue to make a difference? And I think that's what all service members want to do, is like, we have that sense of pride, that sense of community. I just wish that more people would take advantage of the nonprofits that are out there, or would have more knowledge of the nonprofits that are out there to help us.
It sounds like when you leave the service, you're simultaneously going through a period of mourning and grief, and also an opportunity for renewal and rejuvenation and positive change. But making that happen is so challenging, especially without accessing those support programs.
Yeah, absolutely. And where we were in North Carolina or anywhere else I was stationed at, were big military towns. Everybody supports the military. No matter where you go, there's military discount. So I come to LA and it's like, nobody really knows about the military. Nobody knows what I do and, or what I did. And they just think we blow up things, and, that's about it. And so I think that was a big change for me. And then losing, that brotherhood that I had. And then when you get transplanted somewhere else, you're almost alone in the island. How do I build that community again? I realized in the private sector, in the normal world, people like go to work 9 to 5 and then that's it. They don't know what they did over the weekend. They don't ask like, oh, what'd you do over the weekend? And nobody's like, personal life is out the door. In the military, we lived together 24/7, basically. We're always together, no matter what. I mean, I don't know how many Thanksgivings I spent with you, Gibby, but
Those are cultures that you're talking about, and making it more of a family culture rather than just, we work with each other.
yeah. So I mean, that's what I did with the Angels and brought us together. Including our part-time staff, and that was fun. And that, I think, filled that void for me of like losing that military brotherhood. And the same thing now I'm down here in San Diego. Like, this is a big military town, so it makes me feel really good. But I'm like one of the few Army guys in a Navy town, so it's a little rough. But
I have a few questions. I'm wondering if you have any specific stories that stand out to you, maybe something that you think about regularly, just a fun memory from working with the Padres.
so I've been with the Padres since November. So the fan base here in San Diego is amazing. And I think San Diego is the third largest city in the state. And I think because it's so isolated, so south, and there's not other big cities around here, that this community, it just feels like a small town, even though it's a huge city. It just has a small town feel, or just like everybody knows everybody, and everybody supports everything. I never knew there was a major league lacrosse league, and there's a professional lacrosse league, professional women's volleyball, professional ultimate frisbee. So I think that's what makes it fun here, is just the community support that they have for everything that happens here in the city. So it's fun to have 40,000 plus people in our ballpark every game. It creates challenges for me as I continue to learn here, and because as I look at safety and security of everybody that's coming in, that's always a big key thing for me. But one of the fun things that I've noticed is we have day games. So our day games, so again, about a 1 o'clock start game on a weekday. My first Wednesday day game here, we were expecting still 40,000 people in the house, which is insane, right? I'm like, nobody works here. Well, what I realized was 40,000 people bring their laptops to Petco Park, and they work from home at Petco Park.
Is that
That is
true?
awesome.
Oh
So
my goodness.
it was funny because I was watching the security process go, and I've seen all these people bringing laptops in their clear
Wow.
bags. I was like, why is everybody bringing laptops? And I was like, then I looked at the stands and people have laptops open, and they're like typing away and doing work, responding to emails, I guess. I
Yeah.
thought it was funny to see how everybody just comes together, and even on a work day, they're coming to support the Padres, and I think that's fun.
Man, that's a dedicated fan base right there.
It's a fun place to be. I absolutely love it.
Oh, I wanted to ask if you can remember the first time that you met each other and what
I
your
do.
initial impression was. You do.
Yeah. I mean, the first time you're going to meet JB, you're not going to forget the dude. His positivity is infectious. It was like there was we were strangers or anything. It was like, hey man, how you doing? And he just started rapping with me. And I'm like, well, I guess this is the guy JB. I've heard about him, haven't met him, but I instantly fell in love with him. He was just really fun to be around.
JB, you probably don't remember meeting Gibby.
Oh yeah, I do. I think at that point, technically our first days in the unit that we were in was the same day, actually. So you had transitioned from one organization as a liaison to the main organization, I guess, or the headquarters. So our first days were the same, and so we went to orientation together. I just remember all that because in the orientation, everybody was brand new, didn't know anything about the organization, really, like how things worked and operated, and obviously Gibby knew all that. I think learning Gibby's background and like what he had done in the military in his time and how humbled he is about that, it was probably one of the best times of my military. And I laugh about it, I look at it, and I just like how much fun it was to be around each other. But then I look back too, and on a professional level, how successful we were in making a difference in the world and developing training to develop some of the best military members in the world, right? And not just Americans, but our allied forces as well. And everything that we did was to make it better. We had a lot of fun doing it.
I can tell you this also is the units that we interacted with and were helping. JB being the biggest catalyst really to that, as far as those guys at the time, it was before that was them and us, or them in that office. But once we got in there and we started working, JB doing his thing, it was one big team. It was more of a family. It was a special time.
Well, JB, what is something your past self would feel proud of you about your current self?
Yeah, so that's I think throughout this conversation really tapped a lot about things that I've done in my past, and and the successes that I've had. But I think I would definitely say even 18-year-old me or 16-year-old me or 15-year-old me, a high schooler would have never imagined the things that I've been able to do in my life. Looking forward now, if I looked 30 years ago when I was a kid, a teenager, like, would I have imagined me being where I'm at today? And the answer would be no. And so I think as a high schooler, I always imagined working at the White House or working at the Pentagon, and that was something I really wanted to do. And I'm glad that sort of changed, because that's not what I really want to do anymore. But I think looking just at the successes, both in the military, both educational, and then now in the sports industry, and just life in general and things that I've done and connected, I think it's been pretty awesome.
Honestly, how lucky to know that your past self would be so proud of the person that you are today. I feel like not everybody has that, and gosh, that's amazing.
Hey, JB, super happy, super proud of you for the person that you've become, from the military, your transition. You obviously are a very happy person and you're successful. How do you interpret success and your happiness and your joy of what you're doing and who you're interacting with? That's what it really is about.
One of my favorite quotes is from Maya Angelou, and it's, success is liking yourself, liking what you do, and liking how you do it. I feel like that encompasses JB.
It totally does.
Yeah, that's such a great quote. I agree.
JB, couldn't be more happy that you joined us today. Really, like I said, your positivity and your joy is infectious, and that's one of the things I was like, we're going to have JB on this program, and it was really nice to have here with us today.
Also, you've given us so much to think about and to learn from you, so thank you for that gift as well.
I wish you well, brother.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate the time being on the Porch Swing People, and it was a lot of fun. So thanks for having me. It's been great.
Oh, thanks. All right, well, we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye, bud.
Take care.
Wow, what a gem.
What a gem. I thought it was a lot of fun. I hadn't talked to JB in a long time. I do find it fascinating, his journey that he shared with us. Mm-hmm. Not the journey that he had originally had mentioned to me way back when we were hanging out with each other. It was either he was going to go into politics because he's very proactive in pancreatic cancer efforts, or, as he had mentioned, he just figured he'd just go into the government because it was what we know after you're leaving the military. I love the story of him saying, hey, you know what? I found some resources. They helped me point me in the right direction. I did some reflection, found out what my interests are, what speaks to me. I want to be in sports in some fashion or some way, somewhere. So he uses his current network, builds it larger, and then finally finds his way in. And then he started, with an internship and then built his way into the Padres. I mean, how awesome is that?
I think the thing that stood out to me the most was hearing how much JB valued his service to his community, combined with his commitment to finding something that makes himself feel happy, and that those don't have to be exclusive from one another, that you can find a place to be where you are giving back to the community and fulfilling your own happiness at the same time. Last thing I want to say is I found it so cool how our conversation with JB kind of went through the span of his lifetime, starting with his childhood, then his time in the military, his transition out of the military and into the sports industry. I feel like we basically got a crash course on his life, as he was also sharing all of the fun tidbits and wisdom that he's learned and gained over the years. That was a great way to spend an hour.
It was a great time spending that hour with JB. Hey, the one thing that I really think I took away from JB's conversation, and it was really for all the service persons out there that are, in their transition, already have transition. It is daunting when you've spent a grand portion of your life in the military, and as you're exiting, you're transitioning out, separating, whatever you want to call it, it's very daunting. Mm-hmm. And he talked about TAPS and some of the other things but look for the resources and make sure that you find those resources that can help you in your path forward, because the military is just one part of your journey. And that was what JB shared with us. The rest of it is up to you. You got to go out and get it. Get some help to find it.
Well said. The great takeaway. Thanks for tuning in. We have new episodes every Monday, and don't forget to check out our Instagram, Porch Swing People. We post pictures from our guests. We post audio clips from our episodes, and we use it as a way to connect with our listeners. So check it out.
Porch Swing People.
Porch Swing People out.
Use that one.
No.
Yes, do that. I should have said, all right. Porch Swing People out. Porch Swing People is recorded and produced by Lex and Gibby. Opening music was written and produced by Michael Gibson. Porch Swing People is a podcast featuring everyday people. If interested in being a guest, email us at porchswingpeeps@gmail.com.